.org.
For decades, Iran has been an adversary of the United States. On the next Fresh Air, Scott Anderson chronicles the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the upheaval that deposed the reigning monarch and transformed the country from a U.S. ally to an Islamic republic. He says blunders by American policymakers played a key role in the outcome. Join us. Weekdays at 2 on
WNYC is supported by BetterHelp, committed to supporting mental health through therapy and helping clients find balance. Clients are matched with one of 35,000 therapists for online therapy from anywhere at betterhelp.com/public.
A place in the body that's
remarkable, wonderful.
Wow. Yeah.
And also
makes us know who we are.
What?
Yes.
It is crazy.
That's on the next Radio Lab.
It's so existential.
Tonight at 9 on WNYC.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Sean Lay. On today's NewsHour, hundreds of former Israeli security officials say it's time to end the war in Gaza, as reports say Israel is to ramp up military operations there. And the Cuban snails, too beautiful to live. That's BBC NewsHour coming up at 9 on WNYC.
Low 70s right now. We have haze out there this morning with some sunshine, a high of 88. It's going to be hot with a calm wind. And then tomorrow we are still dry the whole week, it looks like. Partly sunny on Tuesday with a high of 87, so hot once again. We cool off just a bit to the low 80s on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday under sunshine. It is 8:52.
When calculating statistics becomes political.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Bitwarden Password Manager. This back-to-school season, a password manager can help students and teachers log in securely across all accounts and devices. Bitwarden.com.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore in for David Brancaccio. On Friday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that job creation in the U.S. was much lower than expected in July and revised down its numbers for May and June, reporting there were 258,000 fewer jobs created in those months than initially estimated. President Trump, upset about the revisions, then proceeded to fire the head of the Bureau. The president now says he'll name a replacement in the coming days. Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman has more.
President Trump's reaction to the bad jobs report news was swift. He posted on Truth Social that, quote, "We need accurate jobs numbers," and proceeded to fire the BLS commissioner, Erica McIntyre, who was appointed by President Biden. President Trump alleged that the July jobs numbers were rigged to damage him politically. But experts in the field say any such manipulation of the data by BLS, including by the commissioner, would be nigh on impossible, given the high level of scrutiny and cross-checking by nonpartisan career statisticians that the entire process of BLS data production undergoes.
And if there were to be some sort of breach, we would know about it.
Steve Pearson is Director of Science Policy at the American Statistical Association and was interviewed before this latest controversy.
The signal would come out that there has been some sort of improper meddling with the data.
There's been no such evidence about the production of the July jobs report so far. Erica McIntyre was a year and a half into a 4-year appointment as BLS commissioner, confirmed by the Senate. The president has the right to fire her. Her temporary replacement is a well-respected, long-time career BLS employee. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
Manufacturing is having a rough time. A report out last week from the Institute for Supply Management found that in July, manufacturing orders shrank for the 6th month in a row. That is after the Labor Department reported that manufacturing employment hit its lowest level in 3 years. Marketplace's Justin Ho has more on what is going on in America's factories.
Manufacturers have plenty of reasons to be holding off on hiring right now, says Tom Derry, CEO of the Institute for Supply Management.
Demand looks weak, and I'm not going to fill that job role because I'm not going to pay somebody for work I can't get. There isn't work to be done there.
Derry says all of the tariff back and forth isn't helping either. Kathy Bostjancic, chief economist at Nationwide, says she expects manufacturing jobs to stay soft this year, at least until tariff policy starts to shape up.
If they know what the tariff rate will be and what the new trade environment will look like, they can then plan around that and make adjustments.
Bostjancic says once that happens, manufacturing employment should start to pick up again, especially if manufacturers decide to expand in the U.S. But she doesn't expect hiring to boom.
We could boost production, but not necessarily one-for-one increasing employment levels along with that.
Bostjancic says manufacturers are likely to invest more resources into better technology rather than hiring more workers. I'm Justin Ho for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. The FTSE in London is up 0.5%. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up in the 5 to 0.8% range, with the Dow futures up 235 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.22%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Yubico, makers of the YubiKey. YubiKey helps protect important digital applications and services. YubiKey, still undefeated, the original passkey. More at yubico.com. And by This Old House Radio Hour podcast, answering listeners' DIY and renovation questions and diving into home design trends, available in podcast apps.
Hail, as in the balls of ice that fall from the sky at anywhere from 9 to more than 100 miles per hour, cause billions of dollars in damage each year. But a lot about it remains a mystery. So storm-chasing scientists are gathering clues to better understand it. Rachel Cohen with the Mountain West News Bureau reports.
Dewey Kahawai was sleeping when he heard a knock on his bedroom window.
I sprang out of bed and thought, oh my gosh, somebody's trying to get into my house.
Then he heard thumps on the roof, and he knew a hailstorm was sweeping through Colorado's eastern plains, 50 miles north of Denver. His house was fine. But by morning, his phone was blowing up with calls and texts. Kahawai runs his own company, American Pride Auto Glass.
There was people's cars that were literally destroyed. 3 or 4 inch diameter holes through the glass on their vehicles. Front windshields with 6, 8 hits.
He estimates he alone attended to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage. Ian Giamenko says hail costs can add up. He's a researcher at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety.
It's not as big a life safety threat as, say, a storm surge or flash flooding, but it happens every single year, and it's costing us just tens of billions of dollars.
And the costs are increasing, partly because more people are moving to places with hailstorms, and researchers think climate change could mean fewer but more destructive storms. But Giamenko says there's still a lot we don't know about hail. To find answers, he's part of a huge team of researchers working on the largest study of hail in 40 years. It's called IceChip. For 6 weeks this summer, scientists chased hailstorms around the Great Plains and Mountain West.
There were some fantastic storms.
Becky Adams-Seelan is the scientist leading IceChip. She says they flew drones into clouds and measured the hail that fell on the ground to figure out
how fast does a hailstone fall? How does it melt? Like, again, all things that seem pretty basic but are surprisingly difficult to try to unpack.
She says piecing together all this data could tell us why certain ingredients in the sky, like temperature, elevation, wind speed, produce a different recipe of hail that falls to the ground. This data could be used to give more detailed warnings and share information like
the hail swath's going to be about 5 miles wide, and it'll probably produce hail for an hour. And it's going to be blown by winds at 20 miles an hour. Like, that would be awesome.
Giving people time to drape netting over crops and pull cars into the garage. In Greeley, Colorado, I'm Rachel Cohen for Marketplace.
And in New York, I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From 8 p.m., American Public Media.